Hey, we had a question. What are the best states to weld in for your money? What's going to get you paid the most? I personally have found usually it has to do with weather or how hard it is to get to the location. Let's dig into these couple of states here. Top of the list, Alaska. Of course, it's difficult to get up there. The weather sucks. They pay a lot to get you out in that cold weather and the extreme elements. They pay your travel up there. You know, you're talking, I don't know, what's a flight to Alaska? People can't just drive there. They got to pay you to get there. So Alaska's probably your top money. Hawaii, same thing. Pretty good money, I think, because of location, because it's hard to get there. You can't drive to Hawaii, right? Pretty rainy trip, I think. They usually fly in and out of there. Also, as far as Hawaii is concerned, I think the cost of living drives them wages up too. I think it's pretty expensive to live there, so they got to pay you enough to stay there. Next on the list, you're looking at Washington. I'm not sure why. A lot of shipyards up there. Maybe there's a lot of competition. I don't really know why. Maybe because of the rain. Pays pretty good up in Washington as well. Then there's the other Washington, good old DC. Pretty good money there. I think probably a lot of demand and not enough supply as far as the workforce goes, I would think there. You know, it's probably cost of living is high in Washington, D.C., I think. Of course, there's politicians there. Nobody wants to work around those guys. We'll keep that one a little clean. I think that's why the money's pretty decent there. Then we come to a couple of states that are kind of a toss-up. Mostly, I think, is the elements, the weather, and they're kind of remote. So you got Wyoming, you got Montana, you got North Dakota. The wages North Dakota is probably the highest on that list. Wyoming, Montana are a close second. We could even throw Colorado in there. Colorado's pretty good wages when you're welding. A little bit lower than Wyoming, but when you get up towards Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, you're out wide open. A lot of extreme weather. You know, you could have 110 degree swing in weather in a day if you're on the right time of year. It could start out at 10 below and get up to 90 degrees. You never know. Wind, snow, rain, but it pays pretty good. I tended to always work Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, Colorado. I stayed in that area, made good money. It was always the best pay I could find. I also liked the population. Wyoming had 500,000-600,000 people for the size of state it is. You can get out in the middle of nowhere and not see another human being for a while. North Dakota's pretty similar. Montana's huge. You can get a long ways from anybody in Montana. That's kind of why I chose those states. I like the area. I like the mountains. I like the population. Money was good. And of course, Wyoming was close to home for me usually. I could be within 6-7 hours of the house on certain jobs. So, question always comes up. How about welding outside of the United States? I hear it a lot. I did get to work in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So technically outside of the US, but it was on a military base, which when you land on a military base, you essentially land on US soil. So most of the rules apply. I didn't really get to go into the country, Cuba, but I was on their island welding in some fuel tanks. And what I've learned depends on the country, and it depends on the location. Like they flew me in, they paid for my man camp, my room and board basically, paid me it was like $40 per diem, I think, but they bought most of my food. So it was basically $40 extra a day. The pay was, I guess looking back, it was pretty good. So that was in 2017. It was $35 an hour for somebody to fly me in and out. I think I eventually made $45 an hour by the end of that job. But fly me in for 3 weeks, work it, $35 an hour, worked 60 hours a week because I couldn't do nothing else. Did a little diving on the side, and then they would fly me back home for a week. So I got a week off out of every month that I worked. It was pretty decent. Other jobs I've looked for that were out of country were pretty similar. They fly you out there. Pay's okay, but I think they make up in the pay for location. You know, I got to work next to an ocean. I got to go diving, and then they bought all my other stuff. Bought your plane tickets, bought your food, paid me while I was in the airport traveling. So they make up for the pay somewhere else. So what state do you live in? DM us. Let us know what your wage is. I'll bet we got somebody who's worked there.